Hi, I'm Vivian Guzman. Today on Dishin It, we have a woman who fled an abusive husband and a doomsday cult only to pick up a paintbrush and become an acclaimed pop artist. She's appeared on the UK TV series Frisky Business, and her rapturous artwork is sought after by the likes of drag queen Art Simone and the TV show Big Brother. I'm excited to make Pasta Puttanesca with the saucy artist Anita Nevar and talk about the inspiration for her life and art. Welcome to Dishin It.
I'm Vivian Guzman. Life hasn't always been easy. I have felt alone, displaced, like an outsider. The world needs a place of belonging, which is why I created Dishin It. On Dishin It, I cook foods from around the world. My guests share their stories, and we inspire the world.
The reason I save marriages past, present and future is because I want it to be that lovely, cute 80-year-old couple that you see still holding hands is the norm.
Welcome to Dishin It.
Hi, Anita Nevar. Welcome to Dishin It.
Hey, Vivian. So good to be here. I'm so excited to be with you. I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Between erotic pop art and Pasta Puttanesca, which we're making today, I got really excited. I was like, let me get all dialed up just for you.
I love that you got dolled up for me.
So, why Pasta Puttanesca?
You know what? When I was a kid, my dad used to make the meanest Italian dishes. He's from Calabria, and I always remember just, couldn't wait to eat his pasta dishes. And anchovies are my favourite thing. I eat them by the jar. So, black olives, pasta, anchovies, my favourite.
Do you know what Pasta Puttanesca means or what puttanesca means?
Do you know that I actually didn't know what it meant, and then I did a little bit of research on it, and it was a dish that quote me if I'm wrong, the prostitutes used to make? Is that right? It's like a hooker's dish? It's hilarious because, I did the erotic art
And so you didn't even think about the whole correlation, but all throughout I'm like, oh my goodness, pop art, it's a little salacious. Maybe this is why she wants to make a pasta puttanesca.
I know. It's hilarious.
It translates into just throw everything that you have in your pantry, which kind of makes sense, right? Because everything that we're going to throw in this pot just can be thrown all at once. It makes it so easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm all for easy dishes. I'm so busy all the time. A quick meal that's nice and tasty is perfect.
Let's do it. Let's make this puttanesca. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and make the sauce, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil at the bottom of the pan.
Yeah.
Going to go ahead and add the garlic. So cheers. I think we have to have a little bit of wine while we're cooking.
Cheers. Cheers.
I wish you were here.
Me too.
Woo. The garlic is looking golden and brown. I'm going to start adding all the other goods to it now. I'm putting some crushed red pepper. I'm going to go ahead and add the anchovies now. Oh my God, the aromas that are filling up in here.
I know.
So I'm adding the capers, and I have small capers and I have these really big ones that are so pretty. Take a look.
Oh,
Right?
yum.
I'm going to throw them in there.
Yeah, I've got some little salted ones.
Yum, those look great. I have about a half a cup of olives.
Yes.
I did about 2 tablespoons of the capers because I'm going for a nice big bold flavor here. Oh my God, this looks and smells so beautiful. I think it's time to add the sauce. Adding the sauce. Getting saucy, baby. Getting saucy.
You are saucy.
All right. This is a can of tomatoes.
My mouth is watering.
Oh my God, so is mine. Right now, I'm just getting all of my little garnishes together and I'm waiting for the pasta to boil over a little bit. I know that at the beginning, in your artwork, you used to use food, right? As part of your subject, like spaghetti or whatnot, or like
Yeah.
You have a painting called what, Obsession, that you did that I saw?
Yes, so there was one, and the middle of that painting, because it's a triptych, and the woman in the middle has got food like running down her head and she's seductively licking it off her lips. So as Obsessions is all about sex, food, all the things we love. So yeah, it's beautiful. And that painting's actually glow in the dark. So at night, her head comes to life and the food glows in the dark. Yes.
I think you need to make me a painting like that, girl. I want to put one in the kitchen like that. How cool would that be? People coming over to the house at night and they're walking to the bathroom and they're like, is that glowing or is that spaghetti?
So good.
And it smells so good right now. I'm gonna show you my sauce. Yours looks so beautiful and like elegant. And mine is like way more saucy than yours, but hey, I'm gonna show you.
Oh, wow. Yum. Mine's all like chunky. Can you see all my chunky and...
I love it. Oh my God, that looks so good. So I made the pasta al dente and I'm gonna continue to cook the pasta in the sauce right now, which is why I put it in a different pan. By doing that, the pasta absorbs the sauce and it's like super yummy.
Yum. Oh.
How's it going?
Mine is perfecto mondo.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and plate now then. Oh my God, this is gonna look like that picture I wanna see on Instagram. I'm going to go ahead and garnish it now. Look at that.
Oh, yum.
Oh, it looks gorgeous. All right. So I say we go and sit down, eat our meal, have some wine, and unpack your gorgeous story, your life, and talk about art.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Look at us now. Are we ready to dig in?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I gotta tell you, this is next best to being a sponda.
Oh, this is the best.
What do you like about it? What are you flavoring over there? What does this remind you of?
I know, just the textures and the salty taste is, it's divine.
So why would you choose erotic art as your artwork?
So I grew up in a Doomsday Cult, and growing up, we were very repressed. So I was never allowed to express myself creatively or sexually, and that was considered a sin. And so as I evolved, like once I had escaped the cult, I had started to discover myself and I started to paint. And so what ended up happening is all these things that were repressed over the years ended up coming out onto the canvas. And hence the erotic art just took a life of its own. And I discovered who I was during the whole process.
Let's back up. What is a Doomsday Cult and how did you find yourself in a Doomsday Cult?
It's a religion that basically prophesies that the end of the world is coming. So Armageddon's coming, the world's going to end, and unless you follow the rules of the cult, you're going to die along with the rest of mankind. So it's quite scary as a child to live like that.
What is a day like in a Doomsday Cult?
It's and you're taking me back. I'm actually thinking back to when I was a child. I would go and have my normal school day, but then we'd come home. It was always doing Bible studies several times a week. We would be going to the meetings. And then on weekends, we were forced to go and knock on people's doors and tell them about the cult and try and recruit them.
So is this the Seventh-day Adventist?
No, it's not. It's Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh.
Yeah.
So when did things change?
As I started to come into teenage years, I started to realize something wasn't right and I always suffered as a kid. I was always the odd one out at school. I never was allowed to go to friends' birthdays or Christmas. As I came into being a teenager and I started becoming sexually aware and had to repress all of that stuff, that's when I started to question the status quo. And it really wasn't until my 20s, by that time I was married, I had a couple of kids, that I wanted out and I ran away in the middle of the night and left the whole thing behind.
Wait a minute, so let's rewind. How old were you when you got married? How many children did you have and when did you leave?
Okay. I know, it's a big story. There's a lot of details. So I was married, and this is the thing, you're not allowed to date because sex before marriage is not happening. So, you marry the first person that you meet. I met someone at 17. I was married by the time I was 19. I had 2 babies straight away. So I was 21 with 2 babies. And unfortunately for me, the person I married, it was a domestic violence situation. So I had to deal with that as well. And it was really at my lowest of lows when I was 25, trying to be a mum, scared of, what was in the outside world, but not loving where I was and knew I needed to get out, that I just bit the bullet and I ran away with pretty much 2 babies under my arm.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I got chills everywhere. I find your story super remarkable because not only did you escape a domestic violence situation, a doomsday cult, 2 small babies, alone, not knowing what's happening in the outside world, and then suddenly you pick up a paintbrush and you're painting?
Yes, and that's a funny story in itself, is that growing up, I was always very creative. I loved to draw, colour in, any chance I got, but I never got to develop the skills because we just weren't, we were told that we were there to preach the word of God and nothing else. We weren't educated, no uni, no progression in life. It was purely a cult and that was it. So my creative skills just never got developed. And this one day after I'd left, I found myself in an art store and I saw this wall of paint, and something in me came to life because I'd grown up in this dark world, and all of a sudden I saw this wall of colour, and I was a mad woman and I grabbed every single colour of paint and I filled my trolley up. I must have looked like a lunatic. I'm just shoving paint in this trolley. I grabbed some brushes and a canvas and I went home and I just started to paint. I just taught myself to paint.
So as you kept going and finding your purpose, what did you discover?
I discovered that I am beautiful just the way I am, and that I didn't have to wear masks or hide who I was anymore. And I think that is something that's really powerful for a lot of people. A lot of people find that they have to wear masks and hide their true identity. So I love that not only did I discover that for myself, but I can now inspire other people through the art to just be proud of who they are. And the biggest thing I think I found out about myself was that I always knew I was different and a bit odd, a bit queer, and I can never put my finger on it. And I actually really was happy to stand up and just say, I'm a queerdo. This is who I am. So that was really powerful for me.
So queer, you're gay is what you're saying?
Oh yeah, so I'm not gay, I'm pansexual, but I just put it under the bracket of queer. So I really am attracted to people. So it's not about gender, it's just about the person. I fall in love with the person. And that was something that growing up, because I would always be attracted to different people, but I could never put my finger on what that was. And then I would feel terrible, because we were told that was, homosexuality growing up in our religion was just frowned upon. So I always questioned myself. So it was a huge discovery for me.
It must have been so emotional for you in different ways. This is exciting, this is my discovery, this is who I am. And yet you left everything behind. So how did you reconcile your past?
I think it took about 10 years for me to actually get rid of any guilt, any shame. I kept reverting back to when I would tap into myself, I would then go, oh my God, this is wrong. What if Armageddon's coming and I'm still going to die? So it did take me 10 years to get over that and to really come into myself fully and to realize that stuff that we were told just wasn't even real.
You have 2 children, 3 children. How are they? How is your relationship with them, and how were they affected by the Doomsday Cult?
My daughters were only young when I left, and they don't remember anything of the religion or the domestic violence. So I know that I left at the right time, and they have wonderful lives. They're proud of who they are. They're both studying degrees. They have wonderful jobs. They have great friends. And my son actually came along years later. So he came along 10 years later from another relationship, and he's my angel. So I'm really proud that I have 3 beautiful children, and all the hardship that I went through, it has made me a better person. It's also made me a better mother.
Why did you leave that day that you left? What was it? What was that thing?
The light bulb that went on? Yeah. I always say there's always a catalyst. You'll put up with things for so long, and then some little event or some person will come along and it will change everything for you. And it had been a moment for me where my husband had lifted me off the ground. He was strangling me. My child was running down the hallway, screaming at my feet, trying to grab my leg, yelling "mummy," while I'm fighting for my life and losing my breath. And I just remember the second that he let go of me and I ran to the bedroom, I had made a pact with myself that I was getting out of here, and pretty much within the week I was gone.
So sorry to hear that, really. That's just so tragic. That is so crazy. I've seen and I've witnessed a lot of violence in my family, and it's traumatizing to be the one witnessing it, but the one who's suffering it is never the same. How did you overcome? What problems and challenges did you have once you left in trying to feel safe for yourself and your children?
It was definitely trusting people on the outside, because we had been told that they were controlled by Satan and they were evil. So it took me a while to actually realize people were good people on the outside, and that I could have these amazing relationships and friendships. That was a huge thing for me. So the next thing was realizing that we weren't going to die and the world wasn't going to explode. Once those two things, once I'd reconciled those, I think it was all up from there.
So how did you survive? How did you make money? How did you make it day by day?
Everything that we were told we weren't allowed to do, I went out and did. So, when we weren't allowed to be educated, I went and got a degree. I started a business. I pretty much created the life that I always wanted. And I think it was more a rebellious thing, things that we were told we weren't allowed to do. It was like, guess what? I'm going to do it.
Is that why your brand is called Revenged?
Yeah, it totally is.
Tell me about your art. So does your music inform your art? Like, how do you get inspired to do pop art?
My music definitely inspires my art. I cannot paint if I do not have my music on. And there's something really interesting that happens is when I'm listening to music, I get visions, and then those visions come to life. So the pop art thing was, I don't even know where that came from. And a lot of people ask me why the style that I paint, like, how did I come about that? It was an instinct thing. It was natural. I don't even know where it came from. So if I've got the music on and then whatever's going on in here, whatever's downloading, it will just come out onto the canvas.
When I think of pop art, I think repetition. I think, Andy Warhol. I think the Campbell Soups. I think of the Elvis Presleys, many of them. I think of Marilyn Monroe. So how do you want to be remembered in your art?
That's a really good question, because I definitely want to leave a legacy. Somebody had said to me recently, I am the female Andy Warhol, which, look, I'll accept that.
Oh yeah, baby. That's right.
That's right. That's a great feather in the cap to have. So look, because mine's pop erotic art. It's got that erotic element. That's what I want to be known for. I want to be known for that, the power of the sexuality, because it's such a beautiful thing.
The painting behind you is also one of your iconic paintings, right?
Yes, The Businessman. And this is actually a photo of a photographer friend of mine in Australia here. They're mutual friends of ours. They were just mucking around one night, these two men, and they're like, let's pretend I'm the businessman and I'm away on a business trip and I meet you and we fall in love. And even though they were mucking around, and obviously the guy with the long hair, he's a bit androgynous, so not everybody realizes, some, that it's a man, some think it's a woman. I saw this picture and I was like, wow, that is super powerful. Like, that really, I feel like something is really connecting there. And so I just asked them if I could turn that into a painting, and voila, we have The Businessman.
I love it because it's so passionate. You seem to be so connected to who you are. You seem to be connected to your artwork on such a deep level. Anyone from the outside looking in, your prior self, what advice would you give to that person?
It would be to trust your gut. And that's one thing that I didn't do. I always justified or thought I was overreacting. Trust the gut, because the gut knows what's right. You know, if something doesn't feel right, get the hell out of there. If the people you're with don't make you feel good or make you feel sad or make you feel scared, get the hell out of there and just find your tribe.
I love you. This is so beautiful. I fell in love with you when I met you. And then I was trying to figure out, how did we meet?
A friend of mine had said to me to contact you for some reason, and I called you up, and then we got on a Zoom, and then we were best friends.
Because I couldn't for the life of me. I'm like, all I know is I'm in love with Anita Nevar. I have to have her on my show. Her work is outstanding. She is the female Andy Warhol. You are. And your artful work is powerful, it's edgy, but it's sophisticated. You know, it's something that I would feel proud having on any wall. One day I would love to have them on my wall, one of your beautiful paintings, because you bring out the color, the permission of one to have color in life. And that's something that I am very big on too. I want people to give themselves permission to cook, to add color to their food, to add color to their face, to add color to their wardrobe, to just embrace life, to love. And like you, to take a chance in the pursuit of your dreams, to celebrate love, diversity, and inclusion. And after all that you've been through in your life, you're super optimistic, and I've always seen you smile. I never know that anything is going on, and you are living your best life. And I want people looking in to say, oh my gosh, if Anita can live her life so fully, so colorful and vibrant, and be successful and figure it out, and after all that's happened to you, then I can too. And that's why I do my show, Dishin It, and I'm so thankful that you came here today to be on my show. So thank you for all the hours that you spent with me today. I wish you were here, but I want you to know that I love you so much from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, I love you too. You're the best, and thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure. I can't wait to be in the room with you one day and having wine and cooking up a storm again.
Well, till then, cheers.
Cheers, beautiful.
Cheers, darling. Thanks for being on Dishin It.
Thank you.